What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. Today we are talking cricket. We are talking West Indies versus New Zealand, or New Zealand versus West Indies. And we were the ones touring this time, and South Africa versus England. Two T20 games. International cricket has returned. We had crowds even back in New Zealand. I don't know how they have done it. They have done a marvelous job with the COVID-19 pandemic over there, something England can learn. And we'll touch on Australia versus India, a very, very high scoring game over in Australia. But yeah, we'll break it all down for you. I'm here with Ram. Let's get into it. Ram, how you doing?
Very good. Obviously, a couple of great matches today, both early in the morning and in the afternoon. It was just a great day's worth of cricket.
Yeah, listen, it was good, isn't it? It's been, for me, West Indies, we played England in what, June, July.
Yeah.
And there's been kind of no international cricket since then. All we've had is some domestic cricket. Then we had a franchise cricket, of course, IPL, CPL.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm not a massive, like when IPL first started, I used to watch it. I watched it a lot, but I kind of not fell out of love with it, but I just didn't really take as much interest in it over the last few years. It felt, I don't know, maybe because I don't have an affinity to the teams. Maybe that's why I don't have that much interest. Same thing with county cricket, for example. Don't have an affinity to the teams over here, but it seemed a bit repetitive. Like, I like T20. I love the crash bang wallop sixes, but when it's literally day after day after day, and it's just like high score after high score, it kind of got a bit. I would watch it for certain players if I wanted to see certain West Indies players how they're performing, but thinking about them for the national team rather than supporting Mumbai Indians or Chennai Super Kings or whatever it might be. IPL, I don't know. Are you a big fan of it? Do you watch it like season after season?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I have to, don't I? Because my roots stem from Chennai, so I have to.
Okay.
I have affiliation with Chennai, so I have to support them. But I get that. Like, back in the day, we had so many top class players, and there was little rivalries here and that. I remember when it was Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings, like Kyron Pollard, Dwayne Bravo rivalry just added that little bit of an incentive, and it was just great. I think this generation, shall I say, we don't see that anymore, which is a shame, but they still play great cricket.
Yeah, I mean, in the last few years for me, I guess I've watched a bit more of the CPL, Caribbean Premier League. Again, more to get. Obviously, me being from Jamaica and Trinidad, I kind of have a affinity who I'm going to support. When it comes to football, actually, I support Jamaica. When it comes to cricket, I support Trinidad. Now, call me a glory hunter, maybe because of Tuesday, but I got that right, and I can do that. It's fine. Yeah. So I guess it's a bit more for me to watch, and of course, there's going to be a much larger selection of West Indies cricketers who can then play for the national team. So there's more interest for me. But again, even then, I'm not like proper on it, passionate to watch every game. I'll check the scores, a few of the highlights, but obviously when it gets to like the knockout rounds, then finals and that, then I'll pay a bit more interest. But international cricket for me is the bread and butter. It's very weird because when it comes to when you compare football and cricket, club football is the dominant. Everyone talks about club football, whereas when it comes to cricket, it's the complete opposite. If you know cricket, if you're into cricket properly, you can focus on like the club or counties, or whatever it might be, franchises. But the general population will just know West Indies, England, Australia, India, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, etc. It flips it completely on the head. So I'm happy international cricket is back. This is where
I think you get the ICC need to get a lot of credit for that, because they've always tried to maintain that international cricket is the pinnacle, and club cricket should never ever be above that. And I feel they're starting to try and act on how, like the IPL, quite a lot of kids want to be playing for the Mumbai Indians rather than playing Test cricket for India, which is mad. Because personally, if I was called up for England, I would rather play Test cricket than go off to.
You say that, but then if they offered you, I don't know what the currency, but if you flip it on this side, £100,000 to do a 6-week stint in the IPL, you are putting down that England contract, saying, "Listen, I'm out. Goodbye, thank you very much."
Only unless if it's for the Chennai Super Kings, then definitely. But if it's anyone else, then no, I'll play for England. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think the ICC have done their bit to try and make sure people don't just completely disappear from the international scene. So they balance the schedule of international cricket and franchise cricket to give the players, so they don't have to make that choice. They don't have to say, all right, am I going to play Test cricket or in this international series, or should I go play IPL? They kind of build a schedule around, which is fine, because bottom line for me, everyone has to eat in it. And if the nations ain't paying them the amount that the franchises are, then you can't fault a man for trying to earn some money and set up his future in it. So, it's good that I know that in West Indies, we had a lot of infighting, if we're going to call it serious, about scheduling a few years ago, and players were dropped from the international team because they decided to go to IPL. And it's like, well, why did you schedule a series in the bang middle of the IPL, knowing that people like Chris Gale and Dwayne Bravo and Pollard, etc., are going to be high in the bids when it comes to the auction? But it is what it is. Some of those things have been rectified recently. Comment here from Hala Madrid says, I'm RCB forever until my goats win a title. I started watching, when I first started watching, I was RCB. That was because Chris Gale was playing for RCB. I think. Wait, he just played for them in the last series as well, didn't he? Oh no, he was Kings 11, wasn't he?
No, Kings 11.
He was Kings 11.
He renewed his contract with Kings 11.
Okay. Yes, I was RCB at first, and Chris Gale was just tearing it up century after century.
It was him and Kohli who was dominating the batting. But the bowling just never lived up to the batting, and that's why they would never go through.
Yeah. Question here from Samuel Ram. Who's the cricket Maldini?
I think for me, in terms, like, obviously he's going to say who's the greatest. For me, it's
one second. Who is Maldini to you?
He's for me the greatest player to ever play for football.
Just the greatest player across all positions. That's it. Greatest player. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And so who's your cricket Maldini?
Jacques Kallis. He could do everything. And I think.
Oh, Jack. All right, go on. Carry on.
Imagine he has the batting record he has is amazing.
It is.
Like, every batsman would want that, and his bowling record is quite amazing as well. It is. And I feel like I think he could have gone better. I think because he carried a lot of weight with him, if he had shredded and made himself like Ben Stokes, he would have been clear. He would have been incredible, and everyone would be frightened of him if he was on the team sheet. So for me, it has got to be Jacques Kallis.
That's an interesting one. I mean, I understand that Jacques Kallis obviously is an all-rounder, so he has that advantage, but it's a skill obviously to do both. I respected Jacques Kallis. His record as a batsman, I think he averaged like mid-50s, and his bowling average, I think it was 30 or just under 30, which is good for an all-rounder. He batted at number 3 as well, which is usually the position that your best batsman bats in. But I was never excited watching him play. That's the thing, because he was very dogged. It wasn't exciting. Like, he could strike the ball good and he could score quickly at time, but generally that wasn't his game. So it never got me off my seat. I respected it, but even within the South Africa team, like someone like Hashim Amla, he was easier on the eye. Hala Madrid says De Villiers. I mean, everyone knows De Villiers, like his striking ability and basically 360 anywhere on the ground, he can score runs. So that was something else. But I respect him. I respect Jacques Kallis. I'll give him that. My great, it's a real tough one, because my greatest isn't an all-rounder. So I understand that he doesn't have that edge if you're comparing to like other all-rounders. But for me, Brian Lara, I say he's the greatest batsman of all time. And I think I guess it's a batsman's game. So for me, if you're the best batsman of all time, you're the best of all time. I understand. However, people like Malcolm Marshall, who was a low order batsman, brilliant bowler, and a competent batsman. Gary Sobers, who's widely renowned as the greatest cricketer of all time because he's an all rounder. But he wasn't. Go on.
For me, when my dad picks who's his greatest, it's between him and Viv Richards.
Okay, see, greater. That's the thing. So Viv Richards, a lot of people, especially from that generation, they would say he's the best batsman they've ever seen. And the clips I've seen, I understand why they say that. And I would never say that Lara is a better batsman than him, but I think Lara's a greater batsman than him in terms of the achievements. So he was easy on the eye as well as Viv Richards. Viv Richards was probably more talented, but Lara's like broke the record twice, for example. Yeah. And he played in a struggling West Indies side, whereas Viv Richards was in obviously the greatest West Indies side of all time, arguably the greatest cricket side of all time. But Gary Sobers, like, he was a proper all-rounder because he obviously batted, and I think his average was about 60, but this is obviously years ago. Yes. He was a fast bowler and he was a spin bowler. So he was a proper all-rounder. And more than that, his spin, he bowled finger spin and he could bowl what they call left-arm Chinaman, so wrist spin. That's what they call it, Chinaman, when the left armer does it. Maybe it's not politically correct anymore. I don't know how to do that. But left-arm wrist spin. So he literally mastered all the arts of cricket, as well as being a fielder. He was a slip fielder. He could field normal orthodox like slip and also leg slip. So literally everything, he had all bases covered. But I never watched him play. I've got autobiography. I've actually met him a couple of times actually. But yeah, I think he's widely renowned as the greatest of all time. Obviously, Don Bradman has to then be up there. But in terms of what I've seen, for me, it's Lara. Callis is definitely up there. It has to be. He's often
a
neglected
test player. He's a typical test player.
He is. Ricky Ponting, I think he's absolutely brilliant. Of course, Sachin Tendulkar, that goes without saying. And then when we're talking about bowlers, Courtney Walsh, Glenn McGrath, Curtly Ambrose.
Oh my God, that guy was scary. I would, like, if I was to face him, I would actually just like, I'll duck every single ball. The guy would bowl like, was it 90 miles per hour average?
Just under 90, but he was tall, and he obviously got a lot of bounce. Listen, he was menacing. I was privy to be able to grow up watching him. I met him actually at the World Cup 2018, the one just gone down. Where was I? In Nottingham. Who were we playing? Australia, or was it Pakistan? One of the two, but I met him down there.
It was that period you had Curtly Ambrose, Malcolm Marshall, Courtney Walsh, maybe Malcolm. I think Malcolm Marshall was at the end of his.
Yeah, he was at the end, but at the early 90s, you had Curtly Ambrose, Courtney Walsh, Ian Bishop before his injury. Those were the main three, and then there was a number of others as well. Go through some of these comments before we chat about the matches today. Simon says, Neeks and Ram, except Afghanistan are winning the World Cup. Mark my words. Yeah, I mean, no, but I did enjoy Afghanistan in the last World Cup. Again, I went to pretty much all the West Indies matches other than the India game because I couldn't get any tickets for that. That sold out like that. Yeah. And then the Sri Lanka game, I didn't go to that one. That was in Durham. But I did go to the Afghanistan game, which was our last game of the World Cup, and they pushed us very, very close. That would have been an embarrassing loss. But
Rashid Khan is
very good.
He's a player.
He goes for a lot in all the franchise cricket.
Yeah.
Hala Madrid said the Villiers is the best I've ever seen, but Viv is the GOAT. Lara, Kohli, de Villiers, best three he's seen. Viv had a ODI strike rate of 94 in the 70s. I mean, yeah, that says it all because he didn't even bat with a helmet. He batted without a helmet, and he used to hook and pull and everything. It was crazy. Yeah. His last comment, he said, I can't say this out loud, well, I'm saying it, but Tendulkar not exciting to watch. I mean, he's not Lara to watch, but I was, what it was with me? I didn't grow up watching Tendulkar matches over and over again, like live all the time, because there's different stuff, whether it's you got Sky or cable or all the matches just weren't available like that. But when his greatness was being realized, you're like, this guy's actually going to go down as the greatest or one of the greatest of all time. I appreciate every time I was able to see him. Like when he came over to England, I think it was 2011, was his last tour of England. I was at one of the matches. He actually didn't score a century in that whole series. I think he got 94 or something like that in his last matches because he was trying to go for 100 hundreds in international cricket and he just couldn't get over the line. He finally got it, obviously. But I just started appreciating, like, I'm actually watching a living legend. And for Indians, he's like a god. So
yeah, he's literally like Maradona for India. He is. I think I get what you mean. Like his batting style is very schoolboy. He's very I wouldn't say safe, but it's very traditional.
Yeah, traditional. Yeah.
No swagger. No, like when you see De Villiers has like flair, swagger when he bats. But Tendulkar, it's all just natural strokes, and when you look at it and like as a connoisseur, it looks aesthetically good. But when you look at it as a neutral who doesn't really watch the game, will maybe likes the flares and the trick and the
you want the high back lift, and when the back comes through, it's swinging around the other side. You like all of that, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, he was a brilliant batsman. But let's get on to the matches today. Obviously, we got West Indies versus New Zealand. I keep saying it that way, but New Zealand versus West Indies. And your side, you support New Zealand, of course. They were able to nick a victory.
Cheat a victory.
I don't know. I said there's no neutral umpires in it. That's what I'm putting it down to. The fact that it's all and you got all your home fans there. That's what I'm putting it down to. Right. But yeah, it started off West Indies. Well, New Zealand won the toss and put us into bat, and Andre Fletcher and Brandon King opened the batting for us. And I tell you, like I'm watching it obviously early morning. It's about 6:15. I barely got the sleep out of my eyes, and them two woke me up. Like they were 58 for none after 3 overs. I am I'm rubbing my hands, I'm tweeting up the place. I'm like, they're gonna get 200 easily. I think, to be honest, if it didn't rain, they would have got 200 maybe anyway if it went to 20 overs. But I'm thinking we're gonna go clear past. You're on 58 after 3 overs. That's nearly 20 and over. That's crazy. And then it all fell apart. It literally all fell apart.
Yeah.
This man right here, Lockie Ferguson. I mean, tell me about his spell today.
Bro, one thing you have to have in your cricketing lineup is pace. And boy, this guy has a lot of pace when he bowls. I think that over when he took out your top order was averaging about 90 miles per hour.
Yep.
Which is just like, imagine like playing against that. Like there's no chance really. And I feel with Lockie Ferguson's pace, you're going to do so much damage. And he just came back from a very good spell in the IPL, so he's in good form.
Yeah.
So we all knew he was going to do something, but to do at the level that he did today was just incredible.
No, it was crazy. Because he came on, he got who did he get first? I want to say Andre Fletcher, but it could be. I think it was Fletcher. He got first, bowled him, and then later in the over. See, listen, Hala Madrid, you're in the comments, innit? You keep telling me that I'm too harsh on Hetmeyer. But there's a reason. I say it all the time. I don't have an agenda against Hetmeyer. I love him. I think he's such a talented batsman. But that's why I'm so harsh on him, because he's so talented. If it was, I don't know, Roston Chase or, rolling back the years, Dinesh Ramdin, I'll be disappointed that he gets out. But I'm mad that Hetmeyer is he's potentially not ruining his career, but he just may not fulfill it. He has a lot of good innings where he scored a century against India. I think it was late last year in an ODI series. Brilliant century. And then today, you just lose a wicket. You are 58 for 1 at this point in the 4th over. You just lose a wicket. You're the batsman that's set in Andre Fletcher. A few dot balls. My man's moving outside the leg stump to go swash, trying to hit the man for 6. He's just got like, where's the sense? I keep saying it. Where is the sense in these players? It's not there. Everyone, like you see a man hitting six, so you must hit six as well. How about you get a single, play yourself in, and let Brandon King pick up the mantle where Andre Fletcher left off? It's so frustrating.
I think it's hard to find players. Like when I was watching the IPL with Chennai Super Kings, I think our top order batsmen had that same mindset where they're like, they see someone hit a sixer, they need to hit sixes as well. And I feel like quite a lot of these batsmen who play T20 cricket, I think not a lot of them have, say, the control and the measures of, okay, we just get a couple of singles, maybe a double here or there, just to ease it through, and then we start hitting the big shots. And I feel like quite a lot of T20 cricket batsmen have the mindset of going aggressive too soon.
I completely agree. Like the thought of wickets in hand being so crucial, it doesn't seem to exist. It's like because they have deep batting lineups now, and like maybe all number 8, number 9 can hit. You're thinking, all right, let me just go, and if I get out, then someone else can. But there's still some fundamentals, and you are the most skilled batsman, so it's your job after all to get the runs. Yes, number 8, number 9, number 10 may be able to do it, but the reason why they're batting 8, 9, 10 is because they're not as skilled, therefore they're not as consistently going to do it. You can't rely on them to do that. If you got you're going at nearly 20 and over at that stage. I think if coming to the end of it, you've been 15 runs and over. There's no need to try and hit the man over his head. And then what happens? You get out. Next over Tim Southey, your boy Tim Southey comes through. He gets that is Tim Southey, right?
Yeah, that is Southey. Wait. Yeah, that is Southey.
Yeah. He comes through. He gets Brandon King. I believe he got the next one, and then Ferguson comes back. He gets Poran, which was a good. No, it's actually Southey got 2 in the over, didn't he?
No.
Southey, yeah, no, I'm sure he did
one. No, he did. He actually did. He got two.
He got King, and then he got Rodman Powell hooking down to deep fine leg. Ridiculous shot as well. I'm like, your wickets are falling. And I understand you're in the power play, but at what point do you just say, all right, let's consolidate. We've already got, because if you finish a power play with 60 runs, that's a good power play, 10 runs and over. Yeah. Why must you're trying to force it? And all you're doing is losing wickets, which means that during the middle period, you're not able to accelerate because you haven't got any wickets in hand. That's all that's gonna happen.
What I didn't understand from them is that when you look at the bowlers that you have, why would you go and attack probably New Zealand's 2 best bowlers? Why wouldn't you attack Jamieson and Bennett and Neesham? Because they aren't bowlers at that level, are they?
But this is the thing. It's about playing with sense. So you're like, you're going well, 58 for 3. So I understand Fletcher. I have no issue with how he got out. Good delivery, quick delivery, bold, cool. Even though it was the first ball of the over, I think it was. No, second. Maybe you should try and see what Lockie Ferguson's about before you go after him. But whatever, you're 34 off 13 balls. Cool. But once that goes, everyone should be thinking, this guy's a bit tricky right now, isn't it? Let's see him off. Pay him respect. Got some singles. If there's a bad ball, you put it away, of course. But don't try and force the issue. As you mentioned, Jameson. Neesham went for 20. I think 21 over, 20 odd.
25.
25.
Yeah.
Santner. Is it Mikel Santner? Mitchell Santner. He went for about 12 and over from his spell. Like, there was batsman Bennett. Bennett got battered.
Oh my God.
But if you had more wickets in hand, then you could take even more advantage. You wouldn't need to have, as we'll get onto, you wouldn't need to have the likes of Powell and Pollard and Fabian Allen trying to rebuild the innings whilst trying to score quickly off the weaker bowlers. You have to try and do the opposite of what the opposition captain wants you to do. They bring on Ferguson and Southey to get wickets. Don't give them a wicket. If you just play them down the ground, they'll get frustrated. They'll take him off because they need him then at the back end. But if he's getting wickets early, oh, you give him another over, give him another over. We just it's so frustrating because this is West Indies all over. I just feel like I'm repeating myself. Unfortunately, I can't talk to the players about it, but it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. But credit to Tim Southee for his 2 wickets, and obviously mad credit to Lockie Ferguson to get 5 in a T20, regardless of whether the batsman should have done this or should have done that. That is a very, very good achievement.
Only 2 players in New Zealand's history has done it, and that's Tim Southee, and now it's Lockie Ferguson, which is
it's brilliant.
Just shows that it's impossible. Not impossible, but it's very, very hard.
It's very difficult because it's 5 overs. Sorry, 4 overs. You're bowling. Granted, no, Ferguson. Southee open, so he's in the power play, so it's even going to be a bit harder for him. But to get 5 for 21, that's amazing. That's amazing. 19 dot balls in total he bowled in his spell. And then we had Kieran Pollard, like captain. Captain, fantastic. And I know we didn't win the game, but this guy as a West Indies captain is everything that we actually need. I like Jason Holder, but Jason Holder, for me, I'm not going to say he doesn't have leadership qualities. He does. But when you compare him to Kieran Pollard, I don't think there's any comparison. I think I can see the marked difference when you see Pollard taking over the limited overs white ball team, and you see Holder in the test. Just in terms of thinking, obviously he's much more experienced. So you've been in these certain game situations already, and you think on the spot. Okay, let's bring this bowler in. Let's change something. Let's do another plan. Let's change the field, whatever it might be. Holder, I feel he goes through the motions a lot, and it's like we spoke about this in the dressing room or in training. So this is what we're gonna do, and you don't. Things change on the pitch, so you have to change with it. And he doesn't seem to react to it. Whereas I see Pollard much more as a proactive captain, and he's got that seniority and the experience to really galvanize, which is still a young group of players. So this kind of innings, which I think is his highest ever score for West Indies T20, which surprises me because he's such a big hitter. You would have thought he would have had a century by now. But I think what I saw today was the maturity that he didn't have early in his career. There was a time when I was like, Pollard's got to go. Like, I know you're a good batsman, whatever, but you don't bat with sense. You're just trying to hit every ball for 4 and 6, and you're going to end up getting out. But I think he's gone away. He's gained that experience and maturity that you need to play international cricket. And I think how he's leading the team now, for me, this was a captain's innings because it wasn't just a case of he got 75. Which is what we needed, but it's the fact that we were 59 for 5, and he reined in what would be his natural instinct to say we need to rebuild this innings. And I hope that the other players can look at that and say, "All right, we'll learn from you, captain."
Yeah, for sure. Like, when you said about him not having that control, I could easily see that when he played in the IPL, he used to run on a lot of emotion, and quite a lot of the time Bravo always had his number because he knew he could play with that emotion, and that's why he always always said bye-bye to him, because he would always get him out. But when you start to see the progression in him, especially in the last couple of years, last year when he played in the final against the Chennai Super Kings, the guy was just hitting it everywhere, but he wasn't only doing that, but he was also keeping himself in the batting line, which is handy to have as a batsman, and it's just credit to him for sort of maturing in international cricket.
Hala Madrid says Polly needs to bat out 4 to face more balls. I would definitely move him up 1 space. We had Fletcher King, Hetmeyer, Poran at 4. I would put Pollard definitely above Rovman Powell in this batting lineup. He definitely should be facing more balls. He faced 37 today. Which is still a fair amount for T20.
I think I don't really see Pollard as for me, a number 4 is always someone that has the reins of the innings. I know Pollard showed it today. But I feel like a player of his quality who can just whack it out of the park and can rein it in, I think it's best to have him at that lower order in case something goes wrong.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think the likes of Poran, I rate him very highly as a striker of the ball. So I think the number 4 position is good for him personally. And they have to grow up in it. Like he can't just be holding their hands forever. These men have to grow up as well. So I definitely would move him above Rodman Powell. I think Rodman Powell and Fabian Allen, they can finish it in his goal. Fabian Allen, he got 30 off I think it was about 20 odd balls. I like Fabian Allen. His bowling's a bit dodgy. We'll get onto it. But he's a live wire. He's always in the game. He never shirks away from responsibility, whether it's in the field. He took a brilliant catch against Afghanistan in the World Cup. Actually, I think I was sitting right behind when he did it. He's always active. Hannah just said Polly's a proper batsman. That's why Russell needs to come back to be the finisher. You know what? Yeah, I didn't even speak about the team really. We were missing Russell. Dwayne Bravo. I don't even know what his situation is in terms of West Indies cricket anymore.
Hasn't he retired? He's very old. I know he's old.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's playing cricket in it, and he's doing a decent job. So, but I'll be very surprised if we were to call him back personally. But Andre Russell, for T20s, I think he has a space for West Indies. Anything more than that, I'll say no. I just don't think his body can hack it.
What about Carlos Brathwaite?
Yeah, no, I'm done with Brathwaite. I'm not gonna lie. Like again, Brathwaite's a guy who he's got a lot of energy and he tries. He's a trier. I think he's got a plan in his head of what he wants to do, but I just don't think he has the skill set to do it. And it can, from time to time, it can come off. Like when we played you lot in the World Cup, I was there in Manchester and they nearly took us home.
Yeah.
Listen, that game, that match, it's a gut-wrenching feeling, man. When Southey caught it on the boundary, like he was nearly there. We nearly had it. But we don't. But the problem is, I don't see that enough. He does that, and then he won't score barely any runs for like the next 20 games.
Yeah. It's like I remember the first time I really knew about him was that World Cup T20 final.
Oh yeah, same as everyone. That's the first time we knew about him.
Where he just like smacked Ben Stokes for 6, like the last over, like every single ball.
4 sixes.
And after that, I thought he would be taking it by storm, but he sort of hasn't really simmered it. He hasn't done much really.
He hasn't.
Would Jason Holder be in your team as well?
No, not in my T20 team. I would have him in my ODI team. See, this thing is, if Jason Holder had Carlos Brathwaite's cricketing brain, he will be the perfect all-rounder for us. He has the ability. He has more ability than Carlos Brathwaite in terms of a proper batsman. Brathwaite's a bigger striker of the ball, but Holder can strike the ball. He's a better batsman and he's a better bowler, quicker bowler. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have the cricketing brain. I just don't. He seems to lack in those areas. Whereas Carlos Brathwaite, I think he has the brain. He knows what he does. He knows what he wants to do and what we should do, but he just can't execute because his ability is not there. So he like, I need to bowl short to this guy because X, Y, Z. But he's dropping it down at 75 miles an hour, so he's getting tongue tied to the ground. That kind of that. Whereas Holder, it's like he's going at bowling at above 80 miles an hour, but he's bowling right in the slot. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, why? If you were bowling like Brathwaite was, and if Brathwaite bowled like how you did, I would understand it more. Blah, lower ability bowler, blah, blah, blah. But you've got all the ability, and he seems to get all messed up. So I wouldn't have Holder in the T20 side. Definitely not. But ODI, I would. And you know what I like about, I was mentioning Pollard as well. Because you mentioned the whole thing in terms of how emotional sometimes he gets in the, or how he used to get in the IPL. When I was watching the CPL, I can't remember who it was now. But it was a West Indies player. It was either a young and upcoming West Indies player or one who's actually in the squad now. I can't remember who it was, but he kept basically taunting him. He was taunting him during the game. And it was kind of like, this is what you're going to have to deal with. You need to be able to deal with this kind of pressure. Because when you go out into the real world, the international world, these men are going to be sledging you. They're going to be saying this and that. Yeah. And I think it was Hetmeyer. It was Hetmeyer. Yeah, it was Hetmeyer.
Hetmeyer.
Yeah, it was Hetmeyer. So he was like every time something happened, he would say something. He would do a little jibe and Hetmeyer. You see Hetmeyer's kind of rage building, but he never went over the top because it's like I know we're opposite sides, but you're still my international captain. So he's not gonna. What's he gonna do? Square up to him. So I'm like a small guy like that as well. But it's those kind of things that Pollard's thinking. I want to get the best out of this guy. I know he's on the opposition side for the franchise, but I want to get the best out of Hetmeyer. So let me do this. Let me do it. Let's see if he can deal with that. But Jason Holder ain't doing that. Jason Holder's just setting the field and yeah, he's not a very inspiring captain. Someone like Darren Sammy. Darren Sammy was a very good captain. Very good captain. But he was a very, very average cricketer. And that's the problem. It's like you can't in this game day and age, you can't carry any cricketers. So you need to have the ability. Yeah. But you also want to have a captain who's gonna inspire the team. I think of someone like Steve Waugh. He wasn't anywhere as talented for me as Mark Waugh, but he was a brilliant captain. Yeah, and I think because his batting was still good, he was able to be in the team. Clive Lloyd, he's known for his captaincy. He was a good batsman, but his captaincy was that good that people don't even really talk about him as a batsman because it's about him getting all the other players around him to play to their best. Jason Holder doesn't do that. Brendan McCullum, very good. I think Dhoni's a very good captain as well. There's a lot of people.
Sangakkara.
Yep, very good captain and a very good batsman. You need to be able to do both. And at the moment, other than limited overs, I think Pollard does both. He's a good leader as well as showing the ability in terms of getting the runs and the wickets. Holder just has the ability, but he doesn't have the leadership. Harry Madrid says Holder just says we need to go back to the drawing board. Oh god. But yes, anyway, listen. West Indies got 180 for 7 off 16 overs because the game was reduced due to rain. We actually went off a few times in the innings and then it was finally reduced. It's funny, when we went off the first 2 times, it didn't affect us at all. Usually when you go off for rain, the batsman kind of we came back out, got 20 runs off the over. But then the last time we went off, I actually fell asleep. I was like, I think we were off for a little while. The third time, sorry, I think it was.
Yeah, the third time was about half an hour.
Okay. And then so they got reduced to 16, which, I mean, we were down to. It probably wouldn't have made a difference in overall, but I feel that when you're chasing and you have reduced overs, it's not much easier, but it's easier because you still got 10 wickets in hand. Yeah. And you have less overs so you can kind of just swing from the hip, and because you've got more overs to play with. Obviously, we were batting at a time where we're thinking there's 20 overs, so you have to bat in a certain way. But this is why keeping wickets in hand is so important, because we were down to 5 wickets already. Then it took that into account when they set New Zealand's total. So we made 180 for 7, so we lost 2 wickets after the rain break. And when we came back, New Zealand had 176 to make. So it was actually less than what we made because we had lost 5 and then 7 wickets in total. So their assumption is that, well, you lost 7 by 16, or 5 by whatever it was at the time, 10 or 12 or whatever it was. Then at 20, you may not even got to 20. You may have been bowled out before then or whatever, or you would have batted a bit slow, whatever it might be. So because we lost all these wickets early, New Zealand had 176 to make, but it was a challenging total. But I felt it was subpar. It was subpar. There was a lot of short boundaries, especially straight. Like you get a little nick on anything, and it's just going like 6. It was crazy. So I always felt that it was going to be a bit difficult to defend. And I think Harry Madrid, you tweeted me and you said that we should defend it. And I said, well, it's about getting the lines right because of the short boundaries. And to be fair, we didn't start too bad. Yeah. I think it was, well, we had Sheldon Cottrell open the bowling. He got a wicket early. O'Shane Thomas, who I'm happy to see him playing. I wasn't happy with him in the World Cup when we played 2018, but I do feel he's got the ability. He's got the pace that you spoke about, that like Lockie Ferguson has, and I think he bowled well today. Looking at the start of your innings, so yeah, Guptill and what's the guy's name? Seifert.
Yeah.
What did you make of them two opening the batting?
Look, thing is, right, Martin Guptill, he's a bit like hot and cold, a bit like Hetmeyer. He is a talented batsman. Like we've seen it before. I think he hit 200 against West Indies in the 2015 World Cup. So he's obviously got some talent. But the guy, I don't know why, but he always ends up getting out for really low figures. Like in the World Cup, he was poor. He was really, really bad. And for his standards, and his standards are quite high because he is a talented cricketer. He's not living up to what he did in the 2015 World Cup, and it's so frustrating to see.
Yeah, no, I heard that he's talented. He got a double century. He got a double century in ODI.
Yeah, first player in World Cup history to get a double century. To be fair, he should have been caught after 5 runs.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Listen, you gotta take your opportunity in it. When Brian Lara made 501 for Warwickshire, which is the highest first class score in history, he was dropped on 17.
Yeah.
In the slips, and the guy, I think it was first slip, turned to the wicketkeeper and said, "I bet he goes on to make 100 now," and he went on to make 501. Yeah. So listen, it happens, innit? You gotta take those opportunities. But nonetheless, them two got out. Cottrell got Guptill, and Thomas got Seifert. And then you had Conway. I don't know who this guy is. Is this his debut? What is his debut?
This is his international debut.
Okay, never heard of him in my life. Never heard of him.
Apparently, he played a couple of games in the CPL.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's got quite a bit of experience, but he played very well. He did.
Yeah, he did. Well. He got what, 41 of 29.
It was controlled as well. It wasn't no rash shots. It was just controlled, slow batting. If you get the odd 4 and 6, do it. You can get it, but it's controlled, which was nice to see. Like, I think we missed that when Kane Williamson was announced that he wouldn't be playing. So we'll be like, who's going to be controlling?
Wait, so is he not in the? Is it just the T20 squad he's out, or is he out of the ODI squad as well?
I think it's just the T20. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think Bolt and Williamson are rested rather than, I think, injured. So they should be fine for the ODI, but I don't know about the series.
Okay. But yeah, he made 41. Glenn Phillips, he made 22 off 7. So he just kind of, he came like in.
My firecracker just came in, hit some 6s.
I think that was the over off. I want to say Keswick Williams. I can't be 100% sure, but I believe it was over Keswick Williams where he went for like 23 or something like that. Because the game was looking a bit tight. Because I think we had run out Ross Taylor as well, for a duck. I think he got caught up in the possible LBW and started charging down the pitch, and he got run out. And I was thinking, all right, guys, we've got an opportunity here. We've got an opportunity, and that's West Indies, isn't it? When we got opportunity, we never take it. I just accept it, innit? But Keswick Williams, I got to talk about Keswick Williams. I don't rate him at all. I don't rate him, and I really don't. He does a lot. He says a lot. He makes a lot of noise. Like, his celebrations are very extravagant. I've seen it in the CPL. Huh? But Cottrell performs. Cottrell, you know what you're going to get with Cottrell. You know every single time what you're going to get with Cottrell. You do not know what you're going to get with Williams. I don't think he's that quick. I think he thinks he's quicker than he actually is. He's trying to bounce people and he's just getting hooked and pulled. And I don't rate him. I don't rate Keswick. I don't know what the hype is about. I think they see him as like, he always plays in limited overs. I don't know if they see him as a death bowler, but I don't rate him at all. There's a few players that I see around the West Indies who I just don't rate. That's some reason, or that for me they should not be there. I remember when we had Ashley Nurse.
Oh yes, Nurse.
And I'm like, he went to the World Cup. I'm like, what's he there for? His bowling is average. His batting is less than average. His fielding is subpar. And we've got a bowler, a player in Ruston Chase who's better in all those aspects, but because he doesn't hit the ball 100 meters, you're not going to pick him. Like, it's just ridiculous. There's certain players that should not be there, isn't it? Hallam just said Williams is from the road. He's living off that Coley wicket. He's not good enough for me. I'm sure he's going to play all the 3 games, and I don't wish that he doesn't perform well for West Indies, but I don't want a performance where it's going to paper over the cracks. If he has to perform bad, so we can see the wood through the trees and get rid of him now before the T20 World Cup next year, then do it. Because for me, this is what all these series are building up to. Building a team that's ready to play in that World Cup. Keswick Williams ain't a part of it for me. Yeah. He's not a part of it. Right. I had to get that out. Chemo Pool. Now the comment here says Chemo Pool is playing against us. It's very funny because he's a Real Madrid fan, and that's what Benzema said, innit?
Benzema said
about Vinicius. I don't know how much you know about Chemo Pool, but I rate him. I rate him a lot in terms of ability. And to be fair, I think he has performed at times. Today, I think it was what over was it? Was it the penultimate over?
Yeah.
Where he had 4 no balls.
Oh my God, yes. I swear to God, I'll give the players the benefit of the doubt that they just came back from a long stint without international cricket. But how the hell do you ball 4 no balls? And Bennett's bowling like 3 no balls as well.
And Lockie Ferguson just came back from quarantine. He hasn't even trained.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it. Like as I said, the game at that point, the game was still New Zealand's to lose at that point.
Yeah.
But you hope that you can give you something to bowl at the last over. The man was just throwing no ball after no ball. And then on the free hit, he's bowling a wide. So you have to bowl that ball again. Yeah. Like it was so bad. And obviously, I think one of them was a front foot. But all the others were like high, above waist high. Yeah. It was terrible.
And the thing is, right, this is the icing on the top, icing on the cake. You're bowling a high ball to a guy that likes to play.
Yeah.
He just smacks it for 6.
I was so frustrated. I was so frustrated looking at that. I'm like, because I do rate him. Like Keswick Williams, I wasn't even frustrated. I was just like, whatever. I didn't expect anything from you anyway. I really didn't. Chemo Pool, I think he's talented. He's a good lower order batsman. He can strike the ball well. He bowls a good pace. I think generally he's around, or he maximum gets one to about 85. So he's generally above 80 miles an hour. He can swing the ball as well. So I think he can play all forms of cricket for us as an all-rounder. So ODIs, sorry, let's get my charger, T20 and Test cricket. Mm-hmm. But I think he didn't travel to England because of COVID. There's a few players who decided not to travel to England. Him and Dwayne Bravo was another. And I felt that we could have had, which we needed him when we were over here, because obviously these conditions over here swing a lot. Yeah. So I think it would have suited him. But I mean, that today's game, with that over particularly, as you said, I might have to give him the benefit of that. As you said, it has a. But that was awful. And let me go to the live. I'm going to find the live commentary and see exactly how that over panned out. Because let's see, Chemo Pool, dot ball, 1 no ball, 1 run no ball, 1 run, 2 run no ball, 2 runs, 2 runs, no run, 2 run no ball, 2 runs. No boundary was scored in the over, yet we conceded 14. That's unforgivable. That's unforgivable. He literally gave at that point, because I think it was 20. See, it was 29.
I think they needed about 30 runs off.
Well, it's 29 after the last 3 overs. So it's in New Zealand's hands, less than 10 and over. But give me something to work with. You got, I think Cottrell so had an over left in him, and then Pollard bowled the last. But yeah, that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it happened for both sides. I mean, it was funny to watch.
No, yeah, it did. And we'll speak about the England game in a second as well. And there was a couple overs from both sides, one from South Africa and one from and England. I said one from England, maybe a couple from England with Tom Curran. They got pelted all over the place. It's rusty, isn't it? I'm gonna give some of them that. I'm not letting off Kesrick Williams because that's him, but some of them I'll give them a bly. Yeah. But then you had I haven't got a picture for him, but Jimmy Neesham.
Oh, player.
48. I mean, this guy, I've seen him play a few times now. He's did he make any runs in the World Cup?
He was the guy for the Super Over.
Oh yes, of course. But he made runs in the final as well? In the normal.
Yeah, he did. No, actually, no. In the World Cup, he was more. His bowling was actually better than.
Okay. I knew it was some way effective.
Yeah, but I think on debut he got 100. That's on Test debut, so he's obviously a quality player. The guy, when they were doing the draft for the IPL, I was like, this is the guy we need for CSK, but we didn't get him, and we were like, oh crap, we missed a trick with this guy. Okay. But we ended up getting Sam Curran, but we'll go later on for this guy is such a handy player to have.
He is.
The guy can field at a really, really top level. He can bat and he can bowl a bit if he gets the line and length right.
Yeah.
He's just a really, really handy player to have.
Yeah, he got 48 off 24, which I think for me that was the match-winning innings. I know Santner, he went and got 31 as well, and credit to him on that good innings there. But I think that the Neesham for me was like, if we don't get Neesham out, we ain't win this game. We had to really get him out.
It was Neesham and Conway. There we go. It was Neesham and Conway. I tweeted out the partnership had to be broken if you guys want to have any chance of winning this game.
Because they put on about 80, I think it was, something like that.
Yeah, it was about 82 run partnership, which was crazy. And you guys did it at the wrong time. And Mitch Satin is a guy that can.
I hear you. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And if you had put a little bit of pressure on him, he might have crumbled, but you didn't. So it was going to be one road after that partnership with Neesham and Conway.
Yeah, so you have to give credit to Mitch Santner, Neesham, and of course Lockie Ferguson. He was the man of the match, voted man of the match.
Don't forget Tim Southey.
Oh yeah, that guy as well. That guy. He was just playing backup dancer to
Hey, when it comes to the World Cup, it will be him and Trent Bolt starting the bowling lineup. Yeah, so, don't disrespect my boy.
But do you think Lockie Ferguson deserved the man of the match?
Yeah.
Like, for me, it was between him and Pollard, depending on who won.
Yeah, it was. I think no one really gets 5-4s.
No, they don't.
And I think it's like a hat trick. They're going to be guaranteed. They're guaranteed the man of the match. So it had to be him.
Couple comments here. Choppers TV. The mild. I don't know what. Maybe it's a typo. Need to pull their socks up because Hetmeyer and Pooran getting chance after chance. They need to pull their weight. I'm not sure the first part, but yes, 100%.
I think it's Windies, but then it.
Oh, maybe. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe. They need to pull the socks up. Yeah, they are. I think me, Pooran needs to give him more responsibility. I don't think they're using him right personally. I think he's actually a better batsman than he's one of the cleanest strikers of the ball in our team in all forms of the game. I don't think they've been using him right. Today he got a good He got a good ball. He did get a good ball. I think it was from Lockie Ferguson.
It was in LBW.
Oh yeah, and that was quick. That was quick. But yeah, both of them. Everyone needs to pull this off. But yeah, both of them are so talented that you can't afford to let that go to waste. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I like Paul Ran as a batsman. I think he's a great batsman, and I feel like I was surprised that he got out. It was obviously a great ball by Ferguson, but the kind of quality he has, I think he should have lasted a little bit longer in this game. In my opinion.
What happened to Corey? Sorry, what happened to Corey Anderson?
Is he still playing?
That's what he asked. Is he still around? I don't know.
I think he's got on a bit, but I think we've got this plethora of great all-rounders. Like we've got Mitch Santner, we've got Jimmy Neesham. I think other than those two, I don't think anyone else is going to be getting ahead of them. Jesus Christ! So when you have, I would say that the Neesham and Santner are one of the best all-rounders you can get. And if you have both of them in your team, I don't think any all-rounder would be getting in front of them unless there's an injury. So, yeah.
Question from Deep Pat Kenya. Did you see Pandya 6? I didn't. Maybe it was a big 6 that I've missed.
I mean, Kyron Pollard's 6 was about 100 meters.
Oh, the one that hit the it hit the roof, innit?
It hit the roof, and they had to get the new ball out because it was. I did see that 6. That was a shot.
Let me see. Wondering if there's a. Someone said, "Oh no, I did. I think I did see it. No, I did see his 6. I think. Yes. Okay, I just tweet. I just went on Twitter and I saw where someone said best shot of the match. No, that was Virat 6. Yeah, the flick when he flicked it. Oh, that was Virat Kohli's 6. No, I didn't see Pandya. I saw Virat Kohli's one where he flicked it.
Not Krunal.
I'm guessing they're talking about Hardik Pandya.
Okay.
I'm guessing. I mean, let me get the. I literally just typed in Pandya 6 and nothing came up.
Because I'm getting Hardik and Krunal Pandya, and I don't know which one's which.
Okay, let's see. Well, only Hardik played today,
so it has to be him then.
Yeah, because he got 90. He got 90 off 76. We'll speak about that game in a little bit. Chopper CV said, "Oh, we need more in the middle." We need more from the middle of the middle of the batsman, 100%, 100%.
I think now, how the game has evolved, your middle order have to be on top of things.
Yeah.
Like you could get away with your top order. Like I remember back in 2011, like Sri Lanka, their top order would carry their team throughout. And I think now, in today's game, your middle order have to be getting some runs and they have to be really good batsmen. If they're not, then you're going to struggle in any T20 series or even ODI series.
100%. Speaking of middle order, so moving on to the South Africa versus England match where England won by 5 wickets as well. Same score same result as New Zealand. Yeah. And you had actually Johnny Bairstow, who was moved. I don't want to say demoted, but he was moved down to where did he bat? 4. I want to say
he switched with Josh Butler. I think he was number 2, and then he was
but Butler opened and he came in number 4. Yeah, and obviously he usually opens the batting. And I know some of the commentators were saying maybe he felt, I guess, hard done by. I wanted to it's a tough one. He's like, I want to prove that I'm good enough to bat at the top of the order, because everyone wants to bat at the top of the order because you obviously get the power play first and foremost, and then you get you get the power play first, and then you get the most balls. And in T20, it's all about facing as many balls as possible.
Yeah.
And when you obviously come in at number 4, then sometimes you might be opening up against the spinners, which can be difficult. Obviously, depending on where you're playing, if the wicket's turning, you have those little nuances. Whereas start it in, the ball's hard, ball comes onto the bat, field is in, so you can play yourself in early. But there's 2 ways to look at it, because You put him down to 4. Obviously, Butler didn't score any runs, but he comes in, Bairstow, he makes 86 or 48, wins them the game.
Yeah.
There's 2 ways. They can say, well, we're going to move you back up to order. Or, well, you know what? It worked. You came in at 4 and it worked, so we're going to keep you there. Well, of course, you're not going to go out there like, I'm going to bat badly at 4 just so I move back up to the top of order. They'll just drop you overall. But, yeah, I mean, like you said, middle order is so important. That the partnership between Bairstow and Stokes is what won England the game today.
Yeah, like there was a moment in the game where you thought South Africa would be coasting through it, but then Bairstow and Stokes showed their quality. I mean, like Ben Stokes, we don't need to say much about him because he's shown it time and time again to be a clutch player. And Bairstow, like he's shown moments of it, but I think that consistency that we didn't see from him, I think this game he needs to keep on doing this. And I think maybe going down the order might help him a bit because obviously Josh Butler started. I think he started in the IPL in terms of he was the opening batsman alongside Steve Smith. So it'll maybe be best for both parties because Butler is a very aggressive batsman. I think England might thrive upon him being an aggressive batsman from the onset. And then bringing on Bairstow, who likes to play a couple of shots here and there, it would be beneficial for them. So yeah, it's just Bairstow needs to continue this great form that he's shown today.
I'll answer this question in a second. Choppers TV, do I think Fletcher needs a better opening partner? Let me know what you think. I'll get back to it. Let me know if you think he needs another opening partner. If so, who? But yeah, sticking with England, South Africa. What do you make of South Africa's team? I'm not actually scared or worried of their batting lineup in any way, shape, or form. So they've got the team is. I mean, I'm not saying they have not got good players, but in terms of T20, big hitters, high run scorers, good strike rates, I don't worry about them. They've got Temba Bavuma, Quinn de Kock, Faf du Plessis, Van der Dussen, Klassen. They had a guy called, I never even know, Van Bion, something like that.
Maybe.
Lind, and then they got the bowlers Rabada, Hendricks, Ngidi, and Shamsi. Their bowling for me is their strength. It's a good bowling unit they've got there. The spinner, who's their spinner?
Wait, did Nokia not play?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, some of the teams I'm not 100% sure. Maybe not everyone's not fully fit, or we'll see moving the rest of the series. But I'm not. They don't have a De Villiers, which is a massive, loss to haven't been able to get someone like him to replace him. I'm not worried. Like going forward, looking at the T20 World Cup, I don't look at South Africa's ODI team or the T20 team and this guy's gonna this guy's gonna punish us. Quinn de Kock's probably the most, but that's it really for me.
We spoke about this before, like Bavuma, de Kock, du Plessis is a very, very good starting batsman. That is like number one, number two, number 3. Du Plessis, like he's got experience. He's proven that he has a good strike rate in the IPL and in T20 formats. De Kock, he's a very talented batsman and he can play a couple of really good shots. After that, like Van der Dussen, Klaassen, Van Billion, Linda, they're not great middle orders. And when you compare it to the likes of New Zealand, where they have Neesham, Santner, Ross Taylor, you could even put in there. And then you look at England's Bairstow, Stokes, Butler, if he does play there, Sam Curran. Like these are quality middle lineups. And if you get through that first batch of batsmen, I think it's plain sailing after that.
Yeah, I agree.
And obviously we spoke about it. The middle order is so important in cricket today that if you don't have a middle order, you're not going to do much against any T20 side.
No, I agree. I was so gutted when we played them in the World Cup. We beat Pakistan in the first game, lost Australia, then we had South Africa in the third game, and I was licking my lips. I was ready to get some more points on the board, and it rained out. We had them like 2 down after maybe 10 overs or so, less than that, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna win this game, and it rained out. For me, I used to fear South Africa, like West Indies especially. Our record against South Africa was terrible. When we were coming up against, I'm going back some time, but Pollock, Mackay and Tinney. I used to actually model my bowling off Mackay and Tinney. I liked him. Lance Klusner. Obviously, you mentioned Jack Callis earlier. Graham Smith.
If you go a little bit forward, like you had likes of Chris Morris, the Morkel brothers.
Yep. Albie and Warner. Yep.
Who else is there?
You remember?
Hashim Amla.
Yep. Same thing. You remember Andre Nell?
Andre Nell. Wait, what? I'm not sure if did Dirk Nannes play for South or was it Australia?
Nannes, I think that was Australia.
All right,
I think that was Australia.
Yeah, but even then, they still had great players, and obviously Duplessis was part of that group as well. So right now, when you compare it from then to now, it's just
it is. And I don't know what, I don't study them properly, so I don't know what kind of things they're doing behind closed doors, so to speak, in terms of getting back to their top, to the top. I got issue with South Africa, of course, like with the whole apartheid, everything, how they, like, growing up watching South Africa. The reason I said I model my my action of Mackay and Tinney.
Yeah,
he was like one of the only black players in the team, and it was like, this is South Africa. How could South Africa and you've got one black person in the team? It was just actually disgrace. Now, obviously, they brought in now the quota system, where you have to have a certain amount of what they will say is colored, so it'll be black, it might be mixed race or Asian or anything that's not white, basically. I think you have to have about 5 or 6 in the team.
When you look at the teams, right? When you look at the bottom order and top order, they're pretty good. Like Lungi and Giddy, Kagiso Rabada, maybe Hendricks is a decent bowler. He's not top level like Rabada, but he's a decent bowler, and Shams is a decent spinner, and maybe you got Nokia to come as well. But that is like, that's it.
Yeah,
it's not really adding more to it.
And I think the spinner as well. Now they had Imran Tahir, who he was a very good.
He was a great leg spinner.
They have, for me, they've struggled in the spin department. Imran Tahir was for me one of the first spinners for South Africa that I remember like having some kind of respect and fear about. Before that, they had a guy called Paul Adams. This is years ago. He used to bowl left arm wrist spin as well. I can't name South Africa spinners that I was really, this is a top quality guy.
It's mainly the pace bowlers they had in history, like Dale Steyn,
of course,
Bada right now. Even you can say Jack Callis is not a pace bowler, but he's a medium fast bowler.
At the time when Pollock was playing, you had Alan Donald. Can't forget Alan Donald. He was a very good fast bowler as well. So I think they're lacking for me. I don't fear South Africa, and England don't fear South Africa either. England had a
no one. I don't think anyone fears South Africa anymore. Like if you said that 10 years ago, you'll be called mad.
Exactly, definitely
incredible team, and now they have just meth players. I'm sorry to say it, but it's sad to see, but it's not at that level that we expect.
It's true. And finally, so England won that game. Both West Indies and England, West Indies, New Zealand, and England, South Africa. It's 3-match T20 series. So I know our next game is Sunday. Is it Sunday then Monday?
Sunday. It's
Sunday
morning. Sunday morning. Sorry.
And then Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the things are too. I don't know. I saw the times. One was like 2 a.m., 6 a.m. No, I don't remember what time I was looking at now. I don't know if it was New Zealand time or I was looking at. I don't know. It's some. Oh yeah, Dumini. I forgot about Dumini.
Yeah, JP Dumini. It's 1 o'clock in the morning for us.
Okay, so, Sunday morning.
Sunday.
I can deal with that. Because I'll be awake at that time, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, and then 6 o'clock in the morning on the Monday.
Yeah, actually wait, no. Oh, will I wake up for that one? Because I got work on that day, so I don't know. Maybe I'll go to bed early on Sunday night. That never happens. Can't watch KJ's midnight vibes.
Yeah.
I'll definitely catch the second innings, whoever's batting second, because I'll be
Yeah.
working and watching at the same time. At least that.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely do a stream. And I think England are playing. They got 2 games as well. I think the second one is on, or their third game of the series is on Tuesday, I believe it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, finally, Australia versus India. So Australia, huge score, 374 for 6. There was a point where I don't know exactly when it was. I just heard the commentator say it, that Steve Smith kind of said to, I think there was a roaming camera, and he was like, "Where like basically 370 is the target," and this was maybe halfway in the innings. 370 is a massive score. Like I don't care how good the pitch is, I don't care how bad the bowling is, whatever you want to say. 370 is a massive score, and it's a difficult score to chase down. Now, as I mentioned,
especially with India.
Why do you say especially with India?
Like India, like the bowling lineup is incredible, so it's gonna.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. I thought you meant they wouldn't be able to chase it down, which I mean they weren't able to. But what I was gonna say is Herschel Gibbs, because it just reminded me when he was another one of South Africa's openers.
Yeah.
Remember when they chased down the record score? I think it was 438 or something like that, which is years ago. Oh, you don't remember? 2006. How old are you? I want to say 2006. I could be completely wrong.
I was 6.
Australia versus South Africa world record match. It was 2006. Yeah, 2006. Australia made 434 for 4. And South Africa chased it down with 1 ball to spare.
Wow.
So yeah, they had a guy called Herschel Gibbs. He made 175 off 111 balls. That just reminded me of another player, Mark Boucher. I can't believe I forgot him as well. Bloody hell, he's a wicketkeeper. But yeah, in terms of, I didn't really watch the match. I saw a part of the start of India's chase, and then when they lost, I think when they were about down to 4, but about 100 for 4, I was like, yeah, they're not winning this game. They've lost too many wickets already. In terms of India, so they have Hardik Pandya, who someone mentioned earlier about a 6. I didn't see it, but he made 90 of 76. He's a top quality middle order batsman, I think.
Like we talk about all rounders, he's one of the best. Like,
yeah.
He could do everything, could field, he could bat, he can bowl as well. So,
and then you've got Shekhar Dhawan. He made 74 of 86.
I think he's one of the most underrated players in the world.
I thought you were gonna say overrated.
No. I think Shekhar Dhawan is he's a very, very, very good batsman. I think quite a lot of people sleep on him.
I think he's very good. I think he's been very good since, because he actually came through IPL.
Yeah,
he was one of the first players to play for India, having been like kind of scouted or found out from the IPL, and it was like, oh, maybe the IPL can be used to actually find players for India. Because I was thinking, players are gonna come, do their bit, earn their money, and keep moving, because it's T20. But he went from T20. Him and David Warner, for me, are the pioneers of going from T20 to Test cricket, as opposed to the other way around. Usually people are Test cricket, and then they'll go to play ODIs, and then they'll play T20. But they were T20 going right up. Halamadrid said, you need Rohit Sharma in these games, 100%. If you're going to chase out a score like that,
Rohit Sharma's he gives you hope. He gives you a lot of hope. Like the guy is an exceptional batsman.
Exactly. He's like, when I look at the India team, we'll speak about Australia in a second. When I look at the India team, let's say the peak India after Tendulkar, so around the Dhoni captaincy time, I used to look at a lot of the players. So for me, Kohli was a new Tendulkar. Pujara, he for me was the new Dravid.
Rahul
Dravid.
All right.
And then Rohit Sharma for me was the new Virender Sehwag.
Yeah.
Like he would just get off to a flyer, and any total can be chased if he's at the crease because he can score quickly. Yeah. Now Darwan, of course, he can score quickly, but then I got this Agarwal guy. I haven't really seen much of him. He only made 22 today. I mean, is he a valid replacement for Sharma? I mean, today he wasn't. I don't know.
It's hard to be a replacement of a guy that I'm sorry, not Ishant Sharma, Rohit Sharma. Yeah, it's hard to be a replacement, and it was always going to be a tough ask on the guy. I think he's a youngster. I think he definitely played IPL as well with I think Delhi Capitals. I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Okay. But yeah, I think it was going to be a tough ask to fill in Rohit Sharma's shoes, and yeah, he was all right, but nothing to light up the world.
In terms of Australia, that's obviously they were the ones. So in the end, the game was won by 66 runs. They weren't able to chase down 374. That 374, David Warner 69 off 76, which is actually slow by his standards. He usually scores over a run a ball. Aaron Finch 114 off 124, so two very good innings. The opening partnership of 156. Mm-hmm. Glenn Maxwell, he did what he does, 45 off 19, 5 fours, 3 sixes. He's see, that's the thing with Australia when you compare to South Africa. They got strong at the top, but they've also got big hitters in the middle. Marcus Stoinis, he can hit big. He didn't make any runs today. Maxwell can hit big. Labuschagne came in very low down. I think they adjusted the order.
Number 6.
Yeah, but I think it's because of how the game was going. It was because he's not a big hitter. I think generally he's probably scheduled to come in at 3 or 4. Maybe is it 4? Maybe 4.
I think it's Warner, Finch, Smith, and
Labuschagne. But if there's like maybe a flurry of wickets lost, then maybe they'll bring in Labuschagne because he can hold down the end and he can take it over. But when you're just scoring quick, it's like just put Maxwell above him, of course. Mm-hmm. Then they've got Alex Carey, wicketkeeper, who can hit big. You got Cummins and Stark who can also hit big. So they bat all the, and Hazelwood ain't a mug with a bat. He can actually hold a bat. They bat all the way down. You compare South Africa where you got this big gap in the middle where it's like, if we can get past the first 2 or 3, then we can really get into that. That's not the case with South Africa. I'm with Australia. The person I missed out, who you wanted to talk about, Steve Smith, 105 off 66 balls. I didn't watch it, but I'm going to just see if I can catch the highlights of that because that must be an amazing innings.
He's incredible, isn't he? He's just like that incident that he had like long ago. I don't want to talk about it, but like I was like, we're gonna miss a player of his quality for such.
What incident? You talking about when he got hit with a ball?
No. Sandpaper.
Oh. Sandpaper gate.
Like, I was like, why? Because we're going to be missing a player of his quality. Like so many Australians talk about him as the next Don Bradman. Obviously, he bowls leg spin, Bradman bowled leg spin, and they have adopted the same style of batting, which is not like
orthodox,
traditional. It's not orthodox. The guy has his bat like over here.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I was like, dude, do you need that much space? And it's Steve Smith he's a 1 in a million kind of player, and I think any team that has Steve Smith, you're bound to get so many runs.
You know what's crazy about Smith is that Adam just said Smith's not great on the eye, but his stats are crazy. His stats are ridiculous. Like in any walk of life, I want to say he's averaging 60. Let me just check his stats.
He's third. He's third highest.
Third highest. So in Test cricket, his average is 62, 60.8. ODI.
I think Labuschagne's higher, isn't he?
Maybe, but obviously he's played much less games.
He's younger.
Let's see, Labuschagne is averaging 63.43. Which is crazy. They had a guy called Adam Voges that was like back in the mid 2000s. He was averaging 60 or 70 at one point. But yeah, I had him just as Smith's not great in the eye, but his stats are crazy. He's not great in the eye, but he's so effective. He's so effective. He knows where his strengths are. And as you say, he has that wide back lift, steps across his crease, and generally just plays it all onto the leg side, generally.
Yeah.
I remember we played them in the World Cup 2018, and you got all these big hitters, Warner. You're worried about Warner, you're worried about Finch, you're worried about Maxwell, Carey, Stoinis, then Nathan Coulter-Nile, I think his name is. That's his first name, Nathan. Coulter-Nile, I can't remember. I think his first name is Nathan. But Smith is he's dangerous. It's a case of we need to get him out because he's Steve Smith. Mm-hmm. But when you're actually watching him, the ball is not necessarily going 100 meters and you're like, oh, he's killing us. But you look at the score and you're like, damn, he's actually killed us. Before you know it, he scored I think it was 100 and off 60, what was it? Of 66 balls, but only 4 fours. But you look at Maxwell, no, sorry, not 4 fours, only 4 sixes. But you look at Maxwell, he got 45 and 3 sixes. So Smith is killing you, but he's not making a meal of it. He's just going about it, singles, a 4 here, and then he's throwing a 6. And before you know it, he's strike rate over 200, and the game's out of your reach. So, yeah, he's 100% going to go down as well. He's already gone down for me as one of the greatest batsmen of all time, 100% already. I don't know. Go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, I feel like white ball cricket suits him so much because if you think about it, the ball doesn't swing that much.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I was watching the New Zealand test against Australia, it was Tim Southey and Trent Bolt were bowling at him, and they kept on having his number because they could swing the ball, like they're the main swingers. I feel with white ball cricket, where it's really, really hard to swing the ball compared to red ball, it would suit that kind of style, and he would be able to play his normal kind of shots, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But even then, his average in Test cricket is 62. So he has just found a way. He's found a way to make the runs. It's amazing. Even though his average is 60, nearly 63, he still won't go down as top 3 batsman of all time. Even though his average might be top 3, but he's definitely top 10. I think just on that average alone, he has to be top 10. I know there's great batsmen from the past who we ain't seen, but our parents and grandparents will say, "Oh, this guy, hey, you didn't. If you watch this guy, you will see." But I don't care. In whatever era, an average of 63 is ridiculous. People say none of us saw Don Bradman, but because he had an average of 99, you have to put respect on his name. Yeah. You have to. It's whatever the case in point. If it was that easy, everyone would have had an average of 99 at the time, and they didn't. They didn't. And Steve Smith something else. Final question before we go. And before I ask a question, comment from Deepak Kanya says KL Rahul should open. He's a very good batsman. Did he play today?
He did.
KL, and where did he come in?
I think he was number 5.
Yeah, that's too low. That's too low.
The guy when he played against New Zealand, he was a pain. The guy just wouldn't get out.
I'm surprised he came so low, to be honest.
He's the highest scoring batsman in the IPL.
Oh wow.
Yeah, surprised he didn't start.
They had a guy called Shreyas
Iyer. Yeah. He's also the guy that came from IPL and started playing international ODI T20, and then I think he's been picked in the preliminary test squads as well. So he's.
Hallam just says they bowled underarm to Bradburn. It doesn't matter. Listen, I don't know what they did. I don't think they did.
Wait a minute.
I don't think they did, but
Don Bradburn used to get absolute bounces.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
They didn't wear helmet as well.
But the thing is, even if they did, they were bowling underarm to everyone. So everyone was on the same playing field. So yeah, if Don Bradman was playing against, I don't know, Dale Steyn, no, he wouldn't cope but the game's changed. You can only dominate, and you're gonna in the era that you're in. you can only compete in the area. And everything's changed. As I said, from
And
time when no helmets to a time when you could bowl how many bounces in the over. Like, you can't do that anymore. So in those cases, it's easier for batsmen now than it was then, because there weren't restrictions around how many. Like the bodyline series, you have like 100 men behind on the leg side, and you just come around the wicket and just bounce them, and they couldn't do anything. Now you bowl one little bouncer over the shoulder, and the umpire's one for the over, and you're like, bloody hell, give me a break. Can I bowl? Like cricket's just changed overall, isn't it?
Like that's why like the older generation would say, like the Garfield Sobers and the Viv Richards, they had to handle this stuff. They handled this stuff, and they didn't wear any protective equipment, so they could have handled the pace of the game. But I think what they did for cricket in general, I think they have to put some respect on it. You know what I mean?
Like, I was gonna say final question before we go: Steve Smith, Virat Kohli, who's the better batsman?
In terms of technical quality.
But listen, I don't know. I just asked who's the better batsman, isn't it? Who is the?
Let's do Terry Stig. Technical quality or output?
Listen, who is the better batsman? Okay, you have got a match tomorrow, and there's one spot to fill. Virat Kohli or Steve Smith?
I don't want to answer it.
Why not?
I'm so tempted to say Kane Williamson instead.
All right, I'll pull up the stats. But for me, I haven't looked at the stats yet. I've already made my decision personally. So in T20, I'll put him to the stats first. In T20, Smith had an average of 27, strike rate of 131. Kohli has an average of 50. What the hell?
50.
Average of 50.
50
in T20. What?
I thought we did. What?
And a strike rate of 130. Yeah, that's crazy. In ODI, Steve Smith averaged 43, and Kohli averaged 59. In Test, Steve Smith 63 and Kohli 53. All right, I'll give you three. I'll separate in three questions. Fair enough. You got a T20 match tomorrow. Who are you picking?
Kohli. It's got to be Kohli. The guy can hit it above the fence, and he's a bit aggressive as well. So yeah.
Agreed. You got ODI. You got 50 over ODI match tomorrow. Who are you picking? Kohli or Smith?
I'll pick Kohli again.
Okay, cool.
I'd pick Kohli again. Like, I wouldn't pick Smith or ODI. If it was any Australian batsman I could take, I wouldn't pick him. I'll pick Labuschagne ahead of him.
Labuschagne ahead of him?
Yeah.
Really?
I'd pick Labuschagne ahead of him.
Based on what? I mean, Labuschagne, I think he's a good batsman. I saw when he came into the Ashes series, I was like, who needs Smith? He's brilliant. But really?
Yeah.
Nah, you're bugging. Why?
I think the guy as an overall batsman who can control the batting, like the scoring of the runs, I feel like he's a better overall kind of batsman in terms of that, rather than Steve Smith.
Bloody hell. And Test cricket, Steve Smith or Virat Kohli?
That's Steve Smith. That's definitely Steve Smith.
All right, I think that's fair enough. So who's the better batsman, Steve Smith or Virat Kohli?
Well, judging by that, it would be Virat Kohli because I picked him for two different types.
Well, you might say that, but you might argue that Test cricket is the hardest. So and ODI and T20 are a bit more similar, so it's a bit skewed in that way. But I don't know. What's your answer?
I'll always go for Test cricket. Test cricket is the pinnacle of international cricket, in my opinion. So it'll have to be Steve Smith for me.
Okay, I think for me, Virat Kohli. I think overall, Virat, and I think obviously, if it's just Test cricket, cool, he's better. But it's not like Virat Kohli is a mug at Test cricket. Like he's a very good batsman as well. I think he's a more Steve Smith. Obviously, as we said, he knows where his strengths and weaknesses, which is the most important thing. And you played within your strengths. Mm-hmm. But I think Virat Kohli has a wider range of strokes. I think
To be fair,
he's a more, let's say, expansive player, maybe, in terms of it's not limited in the way you're gonna strike the ball across the ground. I think he's definitely easier on the eye.
yeah.
So if I'm picking one to watch, or even just in my team, I'll be happier saying, yeah, Kohli is. I know you're not gonna score 60 because your average is 50, but I'll take the less 10 runs to see them get in a more aesthetically pleasing way. I think Kohli, for me, I'll take him above.
To be fair, when you watch Kohli play, he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. Like, you can't see any weaknesses with him, but with Smith, I've seen it in terms of bowling swing. I don't think he handled it quite well compared to Kohli. But
Deepak says, if it's a final or semi, then probably Smith. So you're saying that Kohli's a bottle job? To be fair, I haven't actually studied him like that, so maybe I'll take your word for it. I don't know if you're
fair. Like in the World Cup, in the big games, he didn't turn up. Like, he did get LBW against Trent Bolt in the semi-final.
No, that's fair enough. That's true.
Like, Steve Smith is a clutch player. He's a clutch player.
Adam Madrid said, let's end the show with this. De Villiers is better than both. Do you agree with that?
Well, he's more entertaining, but I wouldn't say he's better.
Yeah, I agree. He's more entertaining. I guess as I said at the beginning, he has the wide range that he can play at 360. But no, I'll still put Kohli above him as a better batsman, personally.
I got one question.
Go on.
Dhoni or De Villiers?
Okay. As what? As batsman?
As batsman.
No, I think I have to go. De Villiers with that. I think I do.
Really?
I think.
I
think across all formats, I think De Villiers is better. Yeah.
You don't want the helicopter shot being shown.
That's a brilliant shot. It's a crazy shot. I think he definitely milked it. Like, he used to do it just for the sake of it, because he knew that it's gonna get some traction, like on social media and the media. Question from Deepak: Dhoni or Ponting? I guess we're gonna say as captains, because I mean Dhoni's a wicketkeeper batsman, Ponting's a number 3 batsman. Ponting's clearly a better batsman. As captain, I'm gonna give it to Dhoni. And the only reason I give it to Dhoni is not even on a technical level in terms of whether one was a better captain or not. I don't have the evidence right now to back either one in that respect. Ponting did manage the greatest, well, Sal said the second greatest cricket side of all time in that Australia. Behind the West Indies 80s, that Australia side is the second greatest of all time. But Dhoni was carrying the hopes and dreams of a nation, a million people. And I think the pressure of captaining India is much bigger than the pressure of captaining Australia at cricket, where you've got rugby, you got 2 sets of rugby, union and league. They've got all these other sports, Australian rules of football, this, that, whatever. India is cricket or bust. And if you obviously, it's literally cricket and Bollywood. Those are the biggest things in India. And so if you flop, the whole nation's on you. If you succeed, you are a legend. And he's a legend. He's a king in India, which means that he must have done something right.
It's the aura that he has as well around him. Like, when he was on the field, you felt that there's a little bit of a buzz when India would play. And I feel like Ponting was a great tactician in terms of Test cricket. Like, I think he's the best ever cricket captain in terms of tactics and everything.
People say Clive Lloyd. Some people say Clive Lloyd. But the thing is with those two, the thing is with both Ponting and Clive Lloyd, the detractors would also say, well, you know what? Look at the team you had. You had Clive Lloyd, had Michael Marshall, Michael Holding, Joe Gardner, Andy Roberts. Then he had Viv Richards. What's the opener? Gordon Greenidge. He was a good batsman himself. He had a lot of quality players. Larry Gomes. Yeah. Ponting had McGrath, Lee, Gillespie, Gilchrist, Warne, Matthew Hayden, Justin Langer, obviously himself, brilliant batsman, Mark Watt, Michael Clark. I feel like I missed someone, but they had
Brett Lee.
Yeah, Bradley. He was those teams were stacked. So it's like if you weren't successful with those teams, you will be a failure. However, you still have to go out and do it.
Yeah.
Ponting, Dhoni for me, he was instrumental in building that India team to make them into they went to won world championship, they won ICC, they won T20, they got to number one in the test rankings. He was instrumental behind actually building that team. I don't know how instrumental Ponting was to building that great Australia side. Brilliant batsman, very good captain, but maybe he was just in a brilliant batsman in a good situation rather than him creating that thing.
Like being captain of that Australian team might have been that added extra bonus to him already being a great
cricketer. Yeah.
Whilst Dhoni, it was made within him that he was a great leader, great captain, led by example for India, for both domestically and internationally.
Alan just said South Africa 2007 to 2014 under Graham Smith, greater than Australia. They won almost every away series. Okay, but I do have hope on you. What did they do in the World Cup semi?
I'll tell you what happened. Yeah, Grant Elliott sent it over the fence and took New Zealand to the World Cup final.
Listen, South Africa, that team was stacked as well. They had quality players. We mentioned a lot of them already, but they bottled every single limited over competition. They bottled it. If I'm correct, they haven't won a limited overs title, whether it's T20, ICC, World Cup. That's unforgivable. So for me, cool. Test cricket, you did your bit. Graham Smith, very good. Came in young, very good captain. Another unorthodox cricketer. But they're bottle jobs. They are bottle when the chips are down. They from 1999. If you go back and watch that 1999 last no, it wasn't even the last ball, last over. They needed one to win, and they ran themselves out with like 2 balls to spare. Like it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I ain't giving credit.
New Zealand used to be that
they were the dark horses. They were the dark. Yeah, who was the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, and then that was a tournament where they went that little bit further, but obviously they lost in the end, which is sad.
Yeah, you got battered in the final, innit?
Yeah, they got
like 100. You got bowled out or something like that. South Africa is like Man City in UCL. Yeah, they can win the domestic games. They've got test series here. But when the world is watching, they crumble. The only time when I had sympathy for them, I think it was the 90. No, or was it later than that? It wasn't 2003. It might have been before 99, where the Duckworth-Lewis method first came in, and it was had so much errors. The first time they ever used it, my camera's gone fuzzy. 1 second. And it recalculated that they needed 22 to win off 1 ball. So it reduced the number of balls, but it didn't reduce the number of runs. And it's like, well, you can't get 22 to win off. You can't get 22 off 1 ball. When at that stage, when it rained, they were very much within a chance of winning. That's the only time I gave them any, sympathy for not getting to a final. Other than that, they bottled it. 2003 wasn't 2003. What was 2003 World Cup? I feel like it was in South Africa. It was, and they bottled.
Sri Lanka beat them. To be fair, Sri Lanka's team was incredible.
It was Sangakkara, Jayawardene. I think I guess Jai Surya was probably there at the time.
Murali was there. Like, what's his name? Fast bowler.
Chaminda Vaas.
That's his name. Yeah, there he is.
But listen, but they didn't even get out the Super Six. No, is Super Sixes? No, they didn't get out of the group. Sri Lanka topped the group. New Zealand came third. Kenya. I saw Kenya beat them. Kenya didn't beat them.
Kenya had a mad tournament that season.
They did. I remember they had this spinner. I can't remember his name. But sorry. I know that's not 2007 that you're mentioning, but that's South Africa. South Africa are bottle jobs, and that's it. I don't care what era. Until they win something, I'm never giving them no credit in it. And
apparently, according to Hala Madrid, rain stopped AB momentum in the semi-final. It was unlucky, not ball. But then again, right? You did get
What year was this one? 2007?
2015.
Oh, 2015.
And to be fair, right, you did get up to a McCullum out really quick early in the game. You still could have won the game, but somehow you allowed Corey Anderson and Grant Elliott to score some runs, and it just helped us on our way. You know what I mean? I think Kane Williamson didn't get a lot of runs as well. You got 3 of our best batsmen out, and you still didn't end up winning.
Yeah, Grant Elliott did a madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a madness. They won it 1 ball to spare. Sorry, it's a South Africa's bottle in it. Yeah, cool. Rain came in, but the opportunity was still there to win, and they didn't take it. It is what it is, isn't it? And they would have lost the final anyway because they don't get over the line. But anyway, listen, guys. Listen, thank you for joining me. It's been a very good chat. We will definitely catch up after the series is done. So the 3 matches between England and South Africa and the 3 matches between West Indies and New Zealand. We'll round it up as well. And then, of course, we've got a test match series with New Zealand and West Indies. So we'll do some reviews after those test matches. Hopefully, for me, West Indies can get some better results. I'm sure Ram wants to see more of the same that we saw today. Where can they find you, Ram, on social media?
Yo, my Twitter right there, LLB Rams. Just follow it. Some cricket stuff, talk about football, cricket, whatever. And yeah, that's pretty much
and from time to time you might see him on the football terrace chatting about some Liverpool nonsense or whatever. But yeah, you guys know where to find me. Make sure you hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you soon.